You're listening to the Silver Stoner Show.
Hey, dudes and dudettes, it's me, E.H. Ivins, your Uncle Herb, and this is another episode, the second live-streamed episode of the Silver Stoner. For those of you, which is going to be most of you, who are unfamiliar with me as the Silver Stoner, what we're trying to do is create here not a place to get high on YouTube, because frankly, YouTube would demonetize us and throw us out, not to mention the fact that we're not here to do a caricature. There's plenty of guys like that. You know, look all over YouTube, you'll see guys smoking pot. What we're here to do is recreate and redefine what it means to be a stoner. And my definition of a stoner comes down to this. A stoner is a person who is open to other people's ideas, creative in ideas and concepts, and uses a little weed or some other substance to occasionally check out and or expand your creativity. But behind all of this are the 5 tenets of being a silver stoner, which I have made up myself, to be perfectly honest, borrowing heavily from Lao Tzu and the writings of the Tao. That's T-A-O. I just pronounced it Tao. You can pronounce it Tao if you want, but that's very much behind it. And it comes down to this. You own your body. You own your property. Everyone else's fight isn't yours. Most of the time, it's better to leave everything alone. And the only person who controls your thoughts or your emotions are you. And we live in a time when, you know, I know that all seems like common sense, but then in practice, we tend to cross over the line and we're becoming an increasingly tribal society. And what I'm trying to do is create here in the Silver Stoner a safe place for us to talk and be open and discuss anything. We can discuss serious issues. You know, stoners, you know, we're not all just, you know, like stoned out in Pineapple Express and running around like idiots. I mean, by the way, I happen to love that movie. But the fact of the matter is, what we are a bunch of serious people who just know how to relax and enjoy ourselves and appreciate others. And maybe we can find a safe space here in this world of cancellation. We are not, just a closing thought before I move on to the news, we are not binary thinkers. In other words, if you disagree with me, I don't think you're, I saw it, and what's brought, I saw 2 articles today. I'm only putting up this one. Wealthy men choose to look poorer for a price, basically. It comes down to this. The new look among the wealthy is not to wear coats and ties. It's to wear sweats and T-shirts. Only, unlike me, and probably you too, Tech Mastery, they ain't shopping at Ross Dress for Less. I saw... No. A pair, in this particular article that where we showed the graphic from, they had a pair of sweatpants. I swear to God, just gray sweatpants from some designer. I don't know how you make a sweatpants anything more than sweatpants. $330 for a pair of sweatpants. Gray, plain old sweat. Yeah, but then you know you're really rich, I guess. It's because, and what sparked me to even bring this up was Ashton Kutcher and his wife Mila Kunis, who, by the way, I'm a fan of both, and I think Mila Kunis is, you know, delicious, and I love her whiskey commercials and all that kind of good stuff. But they built this house, this magnificent thing that was inspired by a barn. They call it, but if you saw the pictures, and it's in today's Wall Street Journal magazine if you're interested. If you saw let me tell you, you and I aren't living in that barn, okay? This is and they went on to say, we just wanted to have a homey feel. Well, when you look at this place with its, you know, $1,000 a chair, God knows where they got it furnitured, it is, by the way, they made the money, it's their money, do with it what you want. I just find it funny how they try to identify with the middle class. You know, this is just our cozy little home. Yeah, they're cozy little, you know, 7,000 or 10,000 or however many thousand square feet of multi-million-dollar fixtures and bathtubs you can swim in and, you know, pools. By the way, again, I don't begrudge you, Ashton and Mila. I just find it funny how we accommodate this. It's like private. It's like when entertainers start with the climate change speech and then they fly private jets. You know, there is no place that a private jet flies out. I mean, of a major city, because I'm a pilot. There are small towns, but there's no place that these people are going to fly to that they couldn't take a first class ticket. Commercial. I mean, and they can fly listen, you want to pay first class, but there's no place, and no one's in that big a rush. You know, the excuse they always use is, well, my time is no one's time is that valuable. Okay? I mean, that's really a cop-out. You know, I'm so busy that I can't waste time to go through security. But these people, first of all, if you fly first class, you have your own line in security, so you blow right through it. Then you get to the gate and they board you first. So, you know, the I'm too busy is bullshit, right? And these people have a fetish about being seen and famous, so that can't bother them. They're just full of shit. If you're going to talk the talk, walk the walk. If you're going to talk about climate change, and by the way, I'm not going to discuss that today, but I acknowledge it to be real, then don't be a hypocrite. Don't give a speech if you're going to fly in a Gulf Stream. A lot of people. Look, Bitcoin is currently in free fall because the Chinese are really hating it. All governments hate Bitcoin. All governments, and so the Chinese have made it very clear that they're going to try very hard to cut off the use of Bitcoin in China. And this, of course, by the people who are too, I almost said dumb, but short-sighted to think this all the way through. But leave it to Disney if there's one thing that dumb does is sometimes it just has to be dumb a lot before it figures it out. And just because you have a lot of money doesn't make you smart, as Disney is clearly demonstrating, because they're coming out with a remake. Well, it's not even a remake. It's a prequel called Cruella. They're going to talk about the background of Cruella de Vil from 101 Dalmatians. I swear to God, this is true. Now, they're starring...
Oh, my God.
No. First of all, they got a really likable actress. I want to not blame the actress / actor, depending on how you want me to say it to be politically correct. I'm just going to call her an actress. Emma Stone. And I love her for a couple of... Number one, she's a Phoenix girl. She's from Scottsdale. I'm pretty sure she grew up in Scottsdale. I know she grew up in Phoenix. And I know her family. I think I know her family is still here. I think that. And I find her a great actress. And so many... I'm not going to go down her list, and you guys have seen her a million times. She's that wonderful young red-haired actress that's appeared... Just some more things, from Spider-Man to Ryan Gosling movies to all kinds of stuff. Anyway, great actress. But they're casting, so miscast is Cruella de Vil. Glenn Close, at least when Glenn Close did it in the live-action animation combination remake of the 101 Dalmatians, Glenn Close, after boiling bunnies in, what was the name of that movie where she boiled the bunny? And she played the girlfriend of the, that was the movie that would cure any man of being unfaithful to their wives. Was when Glenn Close boiled the bunny. What was that movie? Oh, The Hand That Rocks the Cradle. It was called The Hand That Rocks the Cradle. Anyway, that's what a scary villain looks like, by the way. And she made a great Cruella de Vil. But, Emma Stone, come on. And then who gives a shit about the villain? Cruella de Vil is a character that, if you believe the canon of the story, grows up to want to make a fur coat out of the skins of Dalmatian puppies. I'm just not sure why you would make a movie on how she got there. And why that would be the least bit interesting, and I am positive that someone is going to have written and twisted this without seeing it. I'll predict this to you now. You can tell me if you think I'm wrong. I am 99.99% sure that any white male as depicted in this movie will be a moron, a villain, or an idiot that forces her against her will to become who she becomes. And we'll all be somehow twisted to understand it in a different way. It'll never make sense. This will flop like the last one. Why don't you, screenwriters, why don't you all just read a fucking book and exercise your imagination and don't be afraid to have a little fun with it? Jesus Christ. Okay, we're moving out of the news. I really should have, I didn't do it, and it's not Techmaster E's fault, it's my fault. I should have made this a come on dude, seriously. Okay. Seth Rogen, my brother in weed. Brother, you have gone off the rails. Now, I am a huge admirer of Seth Rogen. Okay, I have loved him since Superbad. Okay, and probably I've seen him somewhere else before that. I laugh, even his most outrageous shit, I laugh at. I laughed at that movie, that animated movie where the food didn't know it was going to be eaten and was screaming as it was, did you see that horror show of a movie? I forget what it was called, but I can tell you one thing. Don't ever watch that movie on mushrooms. I'm just saying. I probably read too much, but fuck. Seth, you've jumped the shark, bro. Bro, you have jumped the shark. You're going to need to suck that back. There is. This show is just a good example of it. There's a pendulum swinging back the other way, Sethy, baby.
Let's interview Seth. Anyone know Seth? Let's get him on the show.
I'll never get him on this show because I am but a bottom feeder on the great celebrity food chain. But having said that, I shall reach out to other comedians as they come through my town, and we will get them on here and talk about woke and anyway, enough for today. But Seth, baby, I'm a stoner, baby. I have room for you. I forgive you everything. Come back, Seth. Come back to the light. Come back to the Force, Seth. Leave the dark side. Be funny again. And if you would have, and you know he's full of shit with this entire speech, because if you watched, did you see the one where he went to North Korea to assassinate Kim Jong-un or whatever the fuck? I mean, his movies, before he decided he was woke, were funny and deeply offensive, which is how they should be. You know, like the cum stain on Jonah Hill's pants in Superbad. I mean, I don't know if they could make that movie now because he had a cum stain on his pants and it would be derogatory to girls. And Emma Stone was in that movie, by the way, and took it like a good sport. But, you know, now she'd have to be appalled and microaggressed or some bullshit like that. You know, come on, man. It's comedy. Loosen the fuck up. All right. Guys, you own your own body, right? Your fight is not my fight. My property is my own. These are things that if we really took them seriously, okay, most of the time the right thing to do is nothing. And only I can control my own thoughts and emotions. Those 5 things would change the world. And this is why we all need to be stoners. Now, I'm going to move on to my fucking great stoner advice and close it out and call it a day because I'm having fun. And I hope you have too. Everyone having fun? Tech Master E?
Yeah. It's great.
I'm partying on, man. Party on, Wayne. All right. Let's see. Fucking great stoner advice. What am I doing? Oh, dance with the devil you know. Okay. So, you know, I don't know what you stoners do for a living. Some of you are probably, you know, kind of living off the enhanced unemployment and the stimulus, which is cool. Some of you are probably multimillionaires, billionaires even, and there are a lot in between. But here's the thing. When you're considering whether you should cut somebody out, whether it's fire them from work because they're a pain in your ass, or fire them as a friend, or just get rid of people because you think you can replace, or just dump the person you're dating because you think the grass is greener, or get rid of your spouse and start fucking around because you think the grass is greener. I'm telling you guys and gals, and I use the term guys generically, okay? Just guys means guys and gals and people who call themselves they, all of you, okay? Everybody, better to dance with the devil you know. You know, if life, as the Silver Stoner, one of the things I want to drive home is that I've earned, this gray hair has not died, okay? I've earned every single fucking gray hair on my head. I've done some very smart things and I've done some very stupid things. And this is where my fucking great stoner advice comes from. And one of the dumbest things you can do is try to get rid of people because you think the next one's going to be better. Like you have an employee. Let's say you're running a small business and you have an employee that's, you know, does something that drives you fucking crazy. Maybe this guy, he or she is chronically late. And, you know, you've counseled them, you're thinking, I'm just going to fire their asshole. Well, you fire him to find out you got a guy that steals. You see what I'm saying? I mean, better to work with the devil. Try to gain perspective when things hook you and you're considering like cutting off all contact. Consider that if you need this person or a person like them in your life, whether an employee or a significant other, are you jumping from the fire pan into the fire? Because everything looks great when it's not right up next to you, and then you find out that everybody's got some shit, right? I mean, do you know a single human being, Tech Master E, do you know a single human being that isn't fucking crazy, including me? No, I'm fucking crazy. You're fucking crazy. We're all crazy. We all have our things. Like, Tech Master, would you say that working with me is a challenge sometimes because I'm like a bull in the china shop and don't even know what I'm saying 99% of the time?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, okay. See, now I'm self-aware and know I fuck. So, you know, like, but getting rid of me wouldn't be a good idea because how many guys could stand here and shoot the shit for a couple of hours? You know, cold, right? You might get a guy that wasn't a bull in the china shop, but then could he really shoot the shit with himself for an hour or two? I mean, you know, that's a certain talent. But I mean, that's really a bad example. You know, it's just in your life, we've all run across it where we're thinking, I got to get rid of this person and get someone else. Just consider 999 times out of 1,000, you're better off. It's less stressful to, if not fix, learn to live with the devil you know. In other words, I'll give you a really good example. My ex-wife, Terry, and our divorce was all my fault. So she's my ex-wife because I fucked up, not because she did. But Terry, to this day, and we're still good friends because we have children together and we're going to know each other the rest of our lives, and it's a lot easier to be friends. But that aside, Terry is the most late person I've ever met in my entire life. It's almost unbelievable. I'd never known her to be on time. Okay,
it's chronic.
It's chronic. And I'll tell you exactly why it is. It's not that Terry doesn't set out on time. It's that she is an undiagnosed severe ADHD. Okay? And I find it endearing, okay? So as she walks through a room, this is Terry walking through a room. You know, something will, oh, that's shiny. Ooh, what's that? Maybe I should play. Oh, that's shiny. She just loses her way, and then she'll realize, this is very Terry. She'll lose her way, and about a half an hour into it, she'll go, oh my God, I hate myself, and then she'll run, and she'll realize what she's supposed to do. And then she'll get there and apologize for half an hour. So what we do, those of us who love Terry, is if the reservations are at 7, we tell her 6:30. We have learned to work around it, okay? And I'm not joking. This is what we do. Now, I share this story with you because, and I'm not done with the story. I'm just going to go on with it. So years ago, after Terry and I had divorced, I got in a car accident, and believe it or not, the paramedic who checked me out to make sure I was okay afterwards was dating Terry. Just one of those weird small world things. I got in the back of the ambulance, thank you. And he was doing, the EKG and making sure I was hitting the driver's side door. I was driving a little red Porsche at the time by a girl in an Acura. Thank God, I lived through it, obviously, and here I am. But they wanted to check me out, make sure I didn't have a concussion. So, yada, yada, yada. The guy's name is Fred. He looks down and he says, you're Herb? And I go by Uncle Herb on the show because, the British say Herb is Herb. But, my real life, I'm Herb, So that, you're, and I said yes. And he said, I'm Fred. And I went, get the fuck. So after we got over the small worldness of the whole thing in a city of 1 million people or more, he said, he literally starts sparking up a conversation with me as I'm laying there. And the conversation he strikes up is, doesn't it drive me crazy how late Terry is for everything? This is what this guy brings up to me, her ex-husband, in the back of an ambulance after a car accident. This is what this guy chooses to talk to me about. I thought the whole thing was bizarre. But I was so loopy anyway at that moment, I didn't care. So he goes on and on and on about how late she is, and I said, yeah, it never bothered me. And he said, how could it not bother you? And I said, and this is the advice I want to give to you. If you married a woman in a wheelchair at the time you married her, could you get mad at her for not walking? Because I knew about Terry's lateness all along. In other words, if you marry somebody or get involved with somebody and you're aware of this, it is you got to throw the red bullshit flag of penalty when that annoys you later. If you knew it going in, it's your fault, not theirs. And you want to, I've talked to Terry about her lateness. I just gave up. You learn to work around it. Better the devil, because she has a million other things about her that are awesome, right? So, guys, let me just bring it down and close it out. Better the devil, And now I'm going to close the show by saying to you this. This is, of course, the very, very beginning of what I hope will be a big deal, and I hope that more and more people will watch, and I hope you'll share it, and I hope you'll subscribe. And oh, by the way, I want to thank you for coming. I'll see you tomorrow. We'll be here every single day, same time, same place. Tell your friends, share it, subscribe it. Until next time, this is Uncle Herb. Peace out.
You're listening to The Silver Stoner Show.